Shishkin is coming on the outside.
Constitution Hill still in hand here.
Sir Gerhard with a growing advantage.
But Honeysuckle is galloping clear as she races towards the last.
This is the last for John Bond, and he is over.
But this is Tiger Roll at the final fence, up and over safely. A fifth Cheltenham Festival success.
So welcome to day 2 preview. We talked a little bit longer on Tuesday, so they're going to be individual videos, which you would have worked out by now because you've clicked on a different video. Again, at the beginning of this, there'll have been an advert from Racing Tees. It's not paid. It's just because I'm trying to help him out. Anywho, day 2, we'll kick off the same way we did for the Tuesday. We'll try and be as concise as quick as we can with just our fancies rather than slating too many horses. I apologise for that. What are our naps for day 2? I'm going to go opposite order. Ian.
Diesel Delalier, cross country.
Oh, God. Should we start this one again? Right now, Jake. John?
American Mike in the bumper.
Yes. Matt?
I'm a big Mike fan like John, but my nap on the Wednesday will be Unexpected Party in the Coral Cup.
Ooh. I'm going to go for second for spot on the champion chase. Right, anywho. Ballymore. We'll get cracking on with the Ballymore. Obviously, depends on who runs in it, doesn't it? And obviously, people have got money invested left, right, and centre. Where I stand on the Ballymore is I struggle with it. I keep looking at it. I keep seeing horses could be going here, there, and everywhere. The horse that I do think has got the most likely chance of winning the race, and I do think still a fair price, is Ginto. So I would suggest anyone that hasn't got stuck into Ginto, back him, because I think he's done nothing wrong. I think he's probably the best horse to win this race. As it stands, I can't have Sir G for any race, but I said we weren't going to slag any horses. I can't help myself. Right, Matt, I'm going to come to you because you're disgusted with me. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Dave. Come down on Ginto. He's best price 6-1. He won the Lawlers and Nace last time out. That doesn't look the strongest of form races wise. But he's won all of his starts this season over hurdles, all at 2 mile 4. This could be run to suit, but he's not an overly strong proposition at the moment, with still a couple of runners from the Mullins yard yet to be decided. Whether it's Dysart Dynamo or Sir Gerhard that comes here, though looking at the markets, it does look as if it's going to be Sir Gerhard who's favoured to come to the Ballymore. The other one that I would be extremely keen on if they decided to run him in this race rather than the Albert Bartlett, is Manila Cocooner. Currently best price about 11-1. I was impressed with his victory at the Dublin Racing Festival in the Nathaniel Lacey and Partners Solicitors novice hurdle over 2 mile 6. Thought Danny Mullins gave him a peach of a ride from the front, jumped well enough throughout, and he was extremely quick over his obstacles. I'm sure I have seen it somewhere that they see no need to step him up in trip to the Albert Bartlett. But then just before we come on, John sent me something that it looks like they will be stepping him up. But if he does end up here, would be a strong fancy and bet for me. Race doesn't look that strong at the moment, and he could well get another great ride if able to dictate the pace and kick on coming into the straight. Tip for me is he doesn't need to lead, as proven when winning in Navan in December. Just track the pace before taking it up 3 out. He is the one I am siding with at this moment in time. The more I look at the race, if he goes here, I can't see him out of places.
Nice. John, what do you make of it, mate?
I don't make anything of it at the moment. It's getting on my nerves, this race, to be honest with you. Obviously, we don't agree on this, do we, Dave? But if Dysart Dynamo turned up here, then I think he would be the winner. But that's another story, isn't it? It doesn't look like he is at the moment. So I might have to put a line through that one. The one that is coming here, which I'm quite surprised of, is Journey With Me, because I think he looks more of an Albert Bartlett type as well. And I think he should go there. But in this race, I can't really fancy him, although I do like him. I'm going to throw a bit of a... This one's only had 1 run, so it's a bit of a risky one, but I'll throw it in anyway. I think Walking on Air looked really good on his debut, and he seemed to be a nice type for this race. I'd like to have seen him run the other week, but he got pulled out, didn't he, with a ground, I think, last minute. I think is he about 8-1 at the moment, Walking on Air? So I'm gonna throw him in because I'm just not sure who goes here. So it's not a strong choice at all at the moment. I'll decide on the morning, I think.
Yep, fair enough. Ian, you looked quite happy about that.
Oh, yeah, I've backed Walking on Here.
What do you actually
the
fancy?
Hendo bonds myself, but I've backed it at 13-1. So I missed the boat when it initially won. But on my notes at the minute, it could be a dirty each way at 15-2. So just to echo what John said. But I've got my praying hands ready for Mr. Mullins. Please send Dysart Dynamo here, please, please. I know you're saying about the bumper, but it's 2 mile free bumper. Surely it stays. It must stay.
2 mile two bumper.
Gerhard's gone this, but it's the sensible thing for Dysart to come here and Sergi to go to the Supreme. Has to.
On the flip side of that, Louis, and Sir Gerhard won a 3 mile point to point.
True.
I know obviously you put your fancies and people have got their views that Dysart Dynamo could win the Ballymore, but I genuinely think it's pockety talk. I reckon I wouldn't have backed for the Ballymore, but if I had some quid on him at a big price for it, and Sir Gerhard for the Supreme, I'd be thinking similar. Obviously, no one's mentioned Sir Gerhard in this race, even though he's the favourite. Is it because you're all on him for the Supreme?
Well, me and John have got him covered any novice hurdle because we've done the double champion bumper on any novice hurdle, so it doesn't bother me. If he goes to Ballymore, it opens up more bets for me from the 4 last year that we put on. I just think the Supreme is the perfect race for him. I only want Dysart Dynamo to come here because he'd be a major threat in the Supreme. I don't think he wins the Ballymore, Dysart Dynamo.
No, I think the thing is, I think Sir Gerhard could win a Ballymore, to be honest with you, and obviously price reflects that as well, doesn't it? It's the 7-year-old thing. I'm less sensitive about it with Willie Mullins horses, and we've had some seconds in there. I think French Holly was the last 7-year-old to win it. But we're talking about the fact that it looks maybe a weakish one. And again, I know I said we're going to try and be concise with it. None of us have mentioned Stage Star. And every time I do a Ballymore preview, I've done one, I just get slated for not mentioning Stage Star for the fact that he won that. What's the one at Christmas?
Shallow.
Yeah, wins the Challow. And then I was saying that it's just not a good market.
Yeah, I got caught up in that last year, mate. I was big on Brave Man's Game last year. I was on him at big prices each way.
But it's not as good as Ballymore,
the Challow hurdle winner does not do well in the Ballymore.
But then it's not, or maybe it's not as good a race, is it?
Yeah, you've got that flip side, yeah.
Do we not like him at all? Because I don't like him.
I don't know.
No, not a fan, really.
Has Nichols said he's not going to the festival?
No, he's going to the festival, going straight.
Be the only one he sends at the moment, the way he's going.
Oh, that one.
It will be, won't it? Right, so that's fairly. I think that's the Ballymore as good as we're going to get it, isn't it? I think it's going to be a pretty tasty race. Did I give an opinion on it?
Ginto, you said at the start.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Ginto would be the main bet for me. Just if Manila Cocooner did run here, I'd be extremely interested in it.
Yeah. The thing is, I think Sir Gerhard's going to come here, and I think Sir Gerhard's probably going to travel all over him. But he's jumping a little bit. Exactly. It's going to be exciting. And Willie did say at the beginning of the season Ballymore, so as much as people have backed him for different races and all those sorts of things, it wouldn't be the worst result in the world for lots of punters, I don't think. So we'll move on now. I believe it's the Festival Novices Chase after. My reordering's gone a little bit faff. Obviously, there's been some terrible, terrible news for everyone out there that's been backing the favourite from the start of the season. Galopin Des Champs, I'm going to say probably doesn't come here because I don't think he's going to come here now. What we'll do is we've all previewed it with the thought that he was going to come here because everyone just said that he would have just won. Galopin Des Champs doesn't come here anymore. We'll just go with that outlook for this race. How do we see it now? Who do you think wins the national hunt? Chase, John?
Right. Well, if he doesn't come here, I'm still clinging on to me 25 to 1 ticket like most people. I will side with the Ahoy Senor to beat Brave Man's Game in this. I just think this track and trip will just suit him down to the ground. While BMG, I just don't think it will. Again, he struggled at Cheltenham last year in the Ballymore. Didn't seem to enjoy it at all. And I know he's a better jumper of fences than he was hurdles, but that still doesn't, is his engine going to get him round? That's what again, you fail really to see him off the bridle. He could be a bridle merchant for me. I just got that feeling about him that he might not pick up when asked. And I just think Ahoy Senor on this track can just grind and grind away. And if Galopin's not there, I think Ahoy Senor would be the winner on the day.
Yeah, fair enough. Ian, how do you see it, mate?
Oh, I was watching Luck on Sunday, funny enough, and Nichols said an interesting comment. So he said about 3 under through 5 at the minute, it's 10 to 1, and Nichols wanted the horse to go to the National Hunt Chase, but the McNeils wanted to come here. Now, I think at 10 to 1, I think is a massive price to win this. I do like Brave Man's Game, and I think it could be the one if the others come out. But I think 300 through 5 is one here at Cheltenham as well. So I think it's a massive price, massive. I think it's one of the, I don't know. I think it's well in. I fancy 300 through 5.
No. Well, actually, to win the race, or just because the fact he's a price, you can back him each way.
Yeah, definitely to win.
I mean, he's won at Cheltenham, isn't he? So he's got that benefit against Brave Man's Game and Ahoy Senior. Matt, what do you make of it, mate?
First of all, Ian needs to start using odds checker because he's best price 14 to 1, not 10s.
Oh, it keeps setting me up for that.
He's piling it.
It's a race I haven't got involved in anti-post wise this year, to be honest, Dave. It's interesting in regards to Gallop and Deschamps, whether he here or go take on Bob in the Turners. Brave Man's Game is a horse I like a lot, and he has improved a lot for a fence. The way he jumps and travels is a joy to watch. And he would be the one to be the most likely winner should Galloping go to the Turners. However, at current prices, one horse I have come down on is the other Paul Nicholls runner. That is 300 through 5 at 14 to 1. I think he's a cracking each way bet in this race. He jumps well, gallops all day, and has course form. Been here in November, finishing 6th in the Albert Bartlett last year. So yeah, for me, I'll be siding with 300 through 5 each way at 14s. If Galloping doesn't run, I will do the forecast Brave Man's Game to beat 300 through 5 as well.
Okay, so I've gone a bit all over the shop with this. Part of me, again, because I'm not stuck in anti-post, part of me is really glad that Galloping the Shop's not coming here because I think he would have just won and he would have been too short to do anything with. But hopefully he doesn't come in here. Brave Man's Game, I don't really think he stays. And I know it sounds mad because everyone's talking about winning the King George next year, but I think he's going to be like a Silvianco Conti. Like, I don't think Cheltenham's going to do it for him. And I don't think Nicholls at the beginning of the season even wanted to run him at Cheltenham this season. The plan was to skip this, go to Aintree, and now because he's done what he did, it's funny as well, isn't it? Because he won the Feltham, the Countess Don Novices Chase, and then Galloping the Shop did what he did after. And you can imagine Nicholls being bullish after that and then going, oh, for fuck's sake. But now it's swung back round, isn't it? I do think, and I'm, again, putting words in people's mouths, but I do think a lot of people thought that Ahoy Senior at Cheltenham would be beating Brave Man's Game and made so many mistakes at Kempton that lots of people have looked at that horse and think that Brave Man's Game's going to win the King George next year. Ahoy Senior will be better suited to Cheltenham, but Jumping needs to sort out. But I think he's okay at the prices. Capodano, I read into his comments at the beginning of the season that he might end up National Hunt Chase because they said any jockey would like to ride him. He's probably going to come in now. Before the Galloping the Shop news came out, he drifted loads for the Turners, and he was only in the Turners in the Festival Novices Chase. So that was a bit of not necessarily a clue, but maybe a bit of an indication that this is where this horse is going to end up. He's only about 7 to 1 pokes. He's not massive, but you think that Bob Bollinger race, considering he got done for speed ultimately, he went with Bob Bollinger for quite a long way, didn't he? So I reckon he's definitely very interesting. Willie knows how to win this race. Horses that have unseated or fallen in the same season actually have not got a terrible record when it comes to this race. So I do like Capodanno a little bit. I can't have 300 through 5 either because they, again, like, I know I've talked about Capodanno, like maybe potentially switching targets, but that was like maybe we just manifested from nowhere. But 300 through 5, like, it's just a plodder, any. Like, it shouldn't be necessarily quick enough for this. I know none of the McNeils watch it anyway, but I think I think Brave Man's Game will get beat. I think Ahoy Senior could beat him, but I think Ahoy Senior will make mistakes. I reckon Capodanno could be a squeeze, but I don't know. I'd probably play Capodanno and Ahoy Senior against the field.
I'm surprised you've not said Beacon Edge yet, Dave.
Do you know what? I do love Beacon Edge. He's just not like proper grade 1 horse, is he? Although he's a big price, isn't he?
He's a good grade 2 horse.
Yeah.
He's just a good grade 2 horse.
Oh, you've said that now, Matt. I'm going to have to start getting stuck into him, aren't I? I do like him. And the thing is as well, like the race with Farrick Delan where he got beat, he wouldn't have been able to run up like we would. I don't think he would have been suited to that ground particularly.
Okay, Dave, Galloping doesn't. You don't think Brave Man's Game stays? Do you say you like Ahoy Senior?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob Ollinger's not going. Capodanno on
Maybe,
press
yeah.
going Turners. Jungle Boogie, will he turn up? You never know. Fury Road, Gallop. Beacon Edge 20 to 1. Can you see him out the places then?
Nope. Oh, this is why it's beautiful doing this and talking to people. Do you know what the best thing as well is? Everyone else, whenever I mention Beacon Edge, would just say, oh, give over, Dave. Like, they just put me off. Matty, you're fast my favourite person of the Cheltenham Exchange. I mean, I guess to give me a second, I'm going to have a little wager on that. Are we done? Are we done with the novice Brown Advisory novice to chase though?
Yeah.
done.
So did none of us like Brave Man's Game? Was the moral of that?
I like Brave Man's Game.
Oh,
I just haven't, I haven't got a bet. I haven't got a bet in the race though, Dave. Well,
fair enough. Right.
He doesn't stay, I don't think. I'm going to stick by that.
Yeah, I'm dubious about that. It's good. The thing is, it's going to be a quality race, and I think if Gallop in the Shop was in there, potentially, if that's not truly his trip, it could have been a fascinating race anyway. But I'm excited about it. Right, we'll move on to the first handicap for Wednesday, the Coral Cup, where I've seen and I've had messages from quite a few different people, and I've seen some really strong fancies, but all varying different horses in it. So I don't really have a strong fancy in the race. There's one that someone's told me about they've given a good cake for, but too many people have said it to me, so I don't think it'll win, which is drop the anchor. I just don't think he's on a winnable mark. But I'll let everyone else say what they want. So sorry if anyone was going to say drop the anchor. Ian, I'm going to go for you first. You're gagging for it.
Right, so me and Matty disagree with one of the horses I fancy for the Coral Cup, and that's Party Central. Matty thinks he's going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, Gordon name check the county.
Yeah, so one at 2 mile 4, one at 2 mile 2, won the mare's handicap at the Dublin Racing Festival, so could come off with a good mark. The other one I've penciled is Gail Road. Might be a bit obvious, but again, one at Cheltenham over 2 mile 5, and it's lost his last couple, but was carrying top weight for both. So lost to Metier, lost at Newbury. I've got here giving £6 to £8 literally to the field. So I do think Davey coming around the corner, up the first, not moving a muscle, could be Party Central for me.
But Gail Road's well worth mentioning because I think recency bias has lost that horse quite a bit, hasn't he? Because he was good early on in the season, and the fact that he's had those dodgy runs after, I'd be the sort of person that would say that they've been trying to get a few pounds dropped off. John, what do you fancy in it?
I've got a couple down on my list for starters. The first one's a bit obvious. The second one probably isn't so obvious. First one is Grand Roy or Grand Roy, whatever you want to call it. He's on 147 at the minute. He raced wide all the way round on his run last week, the weekend before last. And he wasn't given a hard time, I don't think, at all. He finished like sort of 4th or 5th in the race. I just think he was trying to keep his mark down really for this. So I think he's like a decent bet. I'm not sure on what price he is at the moment. I think he was 16s when I took him. The other one, now this one's a little bit more left field, and it's a horse I don't really like, but just certain things that have happened that I just think maybe they're setting him up for this, and that's Al Dancer. Now, he's got an entry in this, and he's also got one in the Pertemps as well, so I'm not so sure where he's going to go at the moment, but he's on a proper winnable mark at the minute, and he had a run over fences at the weekend. Now, I think they did that just to give him a bit of a livener. And again, his mark wouldn't go up, would it, if he'd ran well? I think he finished 3rd or 4th, but he ran and jumped okay. And I just think that maybe they're going to have a shot at this with it, in this race with him this year. So yeah, he's the other one.
Oh, nice. I mean, he'll definitely be high enough in the ratings when we need to get into the Pertemps. So it is interesting they've dropped the mark in there. Sometimes they give them the extra entry, didn't they? Because they think they might not get in. Matt, what do you like in the race?
For me, it's a shame that Marie's Rock looks set to be going to the Mares Hurdle rather than running in this. He's a lovely marker 140 and ticks a lot of the boxes for the race. But not to dwell on that too much and time to move on. Could go on and try and make a case for a few, to be honest, Dave. But there is one particular that I am extremely keen on that I said is my nap of day 2 earlier in the video. And that is Dan Skelton trained Unexpected Party. His best price around about 10 to 1. There's 2 entries at the festival. One is the Ballymore Novice Hurdle and the other is this one in the Coral Cup, which is, I think, he will end up of a nice mark of 142. He looks to be progressive tight this season. He finished 2nd behind Gail Road in November under Bridget Andrews. Travelled really well around the course that day and didn't look to be given an overly hard time when I watched it back this afternoon. Harry Skelton rides him in the Coral Cup and can give him a patient ride like he did at Ascot the last day, and I expect him to be banging contention at the business end. Last time out, he beat Phil's Duderies and Gary Claremont easily, where he did make a mistake at the last. However, once he was over, he was pushed out hands and heels to the line. He's been raised £12 for it. Still feel he could be a few pounds ahead of the handicapper, possibly a graded horse in a handicap, and therefore he is my selection. I will be backing him for win purposes only at around 10-1.
Nice. And Dan Skelton made his comments, didn't he? Because they've been like a stable draw, and he sounds classically bullish for him, saying that if there wasn't a Cheltenham Festival handicap to go out, he'd be sticking him in graded company, wouldn't he? So, I like him. I say I like him. I mean, I can see the case for him. Honestly, you guys will all know this as well. There's tens of horses in this race that people could make a bit of a case for that people are fancy. I'm not even going to go over those ones. I know people will probably be annoyed that we haven't mentioned the likes of, I don't know, don't even want to mention their names. One that I will mention, though, is a horse that is just a curious one more than anything, is I Like the Way You're Thinking, because he's been over fences and he's only got 2 hurdle entries at Cheltenham. And he was, Gavin Lynch put him up a couple of years back, didn't he? A big price to win any race. And then he was back quite short for the Martin Pipe. Okay, he was beat, but he was unlucky right at the beginning. There was a big bit of trouble where he was hampered. Only got beat 5 1/4 lengths that day, was off 139. And that was coming in there off his Irish mark of 132. His Irish hurdle mark is 133 now. So he might get in around about the same sort of number. And considering he's an 8-year-old and he's been chasing since that race, he ran in 1 handicap hurdle since, but considering he's been chasing, you'd think he'd be more forward now. So he's 33 for this, I think, best price, or maybe, and then 25 best price maybe for the Martin Pipe, but no point going to the Pipe, is there? We've got the winner of that. But I think that it's definitely, it looks like a pretty tidy race. There's loads of horses you can make a case for. We can leave it there, I think. Are we happy?
Happy.
Champion Chase. All I'm going to do is, before anyone gives their opinion, is I'm going to tell you how it's going to go down. Chacon Poursoir has to lead to win. I don't even care if Paul Townend's on him or not, because you remember when Duvan fell that year, when it was a long way out, but people were saying he was travelling really well and they just sent him off. So Energumene needs a bit of a lead. First flow just wasn't quick enough at Ascot to give him enough of a lead. So it's going to suit Energumene by Chacon Poursoir going off in front, but I just don't think he can catch him. Shishkin will need a little bit of a lead anyway, so he's going to sit in behind. But I just reckon Chacon Poursoir, they said they got it tactically wrong last year. Maybe it was the travel, maybe it was all that sort of stuff. But the beginning of this season, he was without doubt for me, after his Punchestown win, the best 2-miler in training. He's like an 8 poke. He will lead. They'll all be there at the last, and then it's just a case of does he really get up the hill or whether he doesn't.
Up the hill.
No, but I reckon we'll find out. But I can't have Energumene in the slightest. Shishkin will probably go past him. But Willie Mullins has already said it, but I spoke to Darren a few weeks back and he was calling me all sorts. But I said to him, I think Paul Townend will ride him. And I know people have said about the Ascot race that it's shorter and Energumene was in front, so it will suit. But everyone was talking about Energumene for a Ryanair. Like everyone can see that even before when Energumene was hurdling, Willie Mullins said he was a staying hurdler. He was like back to the Albert Bartlett and he had his 1 hurdle run because he had an injury. He's a stayer. Energumene cannot win a champion chase, so I think the prices are wrong. Like Chacon Poursoir should be second favourite behind Shishkin, and because of that, that's why I'm keen on Chacon Poursoir. Like he's just too big a price. You'll be able to have whatever you want on the exchanges at 7 or 8 to 1 Chacon Poursoir, and when they turn 2 from home, like last year, he didn't get up the hill, but he looked like he was the winner. So I reckon this year I'll be able to trade him and make some coin that way. So I do think he's got a chance, but Shishkin's anyone that can beat him. Matt, I'm going to make you wait for the head shakes. John. Go for it. What do you fancy? How do you see the champion chase? Who's going to win it?
I think you best get ready to lay Chacon as well, Dave, when he's at the bottom of the hill, because I just can't see him winning. I really can't. I don't know. I've never been a massive fan of him, and I know he's good at home, but when he's away, he just doesn't do it for me at all. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong, and maybe he'll bolter. Who knows? But I just can't see past Shishkin at the moment. I think he'll win. The only way I think Energumene will win is if Shishkin makes a couple of mistakes. And I think he is more likely to make an error than Energumene does, because I think he's probably slightly the better jumper. But yeah, I think Shishkin wins, to be honest. Can't really see past him.
Yeah, fair enough. Ian, you can go next and you can take as long as you want as well. Let's keep Matty brewing.
No, mine won't take too long. I think if Townend is going to win, I think he'll ride Energumene. I think he has to do exactly the same as he did at Ascot. So you mentioned about Cheltenham being that bit shorter. So I don't think they should change any tactics at all. But saying that, I still think Shishkin will win. if the ground's good, I think Nubi Nega could creep into the places in front of your beloved Shakan. But yeah, I just think Shishkin's Cheltenham form as well. It's won the Supreme, won the Arkle here. First time here for an Ergamine. Agree with the lads on. I backed Shakan last year and I was gutted, but you know, it seems an Irish horse, or he is an Irish horse, but he just seems to love Leopardstown and Punchestown. But I don't know, the 1, 2, 3 for me, I'll say Shishkin and Ergamine, Nubi Negra. There's your try card.
Everyone's just digging it in now. Go on, Matt. Both barrels.
I've got no intro. I've got no real view on it, mate, to be honest. No. It's all about Shishkin, mate, for me. Probably talking from my wallet a little bit. I've got him covered at 33 to 1, as I've done the double last year of Shishkin's win the Arkle 2021 and the 22 champion chase. He's come out and shown us he's fit and healthy, and what a performance we were given in the Clarence House, not just by Shishkin, but by an Ergamine too. Do I think an Ergamine can reverse the form of Shishkin at Cheltenham? Personally, no. I don't think. I think Shishkin will have too much for him again, and as long as Nico can keep him out of trouble, in an error-free round, I think the same outcome will happen, and that is Shishkin takes the crown. Away from my personal opinion, of course an Ergamine has a chance to reverse the form. He was only beaten 1 length in the Clarence House. Upon thinking about the race and discussing with others, you could have a field of around 12 runners, which could pose traffic problems if Shishkin doesn't jump fluently. But for me, I'm team Shishkin all the way. One thing I will add though, if you think Shishkin is too short or you don't have a strong fancy in the race, don't feel the need to have a bet. Just kick back and enjoy the race, because if it's anything like last time, we're in for a treat. It's mouth-watering just thinking about it. I will be at the course, but it is certainly going to be on record so I can get my two little ones to watch it with me when I get home on the weekend.
Oh.
But Shakan doesn't place.
We'll have to see what but I'm thinking, I'm definitely already starting to think of some of the races from like a position of how I'll be able to play them on the day. And I think Shishkin's
you do a lot of bet, though. You do a lot of trading off, don't you, as well?
Yeah, well, that's it. But because I'm not stuck in anti-post, like Shishkin is the deserved favourite. Shishkin is the most likely winner of the race. But I think the flat spot that he hits, or whether it's just Nico de Boinville bouncing up and down, I think Shishkin will trade a bit bigger in running, because I do think Shakan's going to go off like the clappers. And I think he'll build a bit of a gap between them. So I think his price will start to come down. I think Shishkin, even if Shakan Boswell didn't do that, he's going to be sitting in behind. I think his price might go out a little bit. So I reckon I've got a chance to back and lay Shakan for a little free roll. And then I reckon I got the chance to back Shishkin in running. And I'm taking on an Ergamine till the cows come home. Like I do understand the logic that people are saying because it's a shorter trip and he was in front because of it. But that's not how racing works. And again, I did that little video about the difference between the hills at Ascot and Cheltenham. If you're going up a steady incline and you want to, like the pace gets like increased a little bit, it's doable. It takes less effort. Like if you're driving a car up a hill and there's a little bit of an incline, it takes no bother. As soon as you go flat or you're going up a little incline, then it gets up to a steep incline, you've got to then find that extra gear, or you've got to really be able to accelerate. As soon as they do that at Cheltenham, a Ergamine's not quick enough to do it. So as soon as they turn up that hill at Cheltenham, a Ergamine's going to fall out his arse like Shakan did last year. But I watched the champion chase back like 5 or 6 times. And every time I watch it back, Shakan wins. Shakan wins, but he never does. Never gets up there. But he looked like the winner, didn't he? And I was like, again, it's a bit clutching at straws. They said the same with Min, didn't they, to reverse the form of Altior, that they were going to tactically change things. I don't think this time round Shishkin will try and do anything to disturb Shakan out front. I reckon he'll go out there, but it's a proper tasty race. I just cannot have an Ergamine for the life of me. So let's get ready
if Editor de Geet turns up here, though, will he try and go with Shakan?
But the thing is, they're
not going to be able to live with him, but he'll try and go. He'll try, won't they?
Maybe, yeah. And that's because that's the interesting thing with Shakan. They talk about they tactically got it wrong with him at Cheltenham, didn't they? And then he runs at Leopardstown, and they just let him get a lead. They're happy for him to have a lead. I think they just know at Cheltenham, maybe they just weren't going quick enough in that particular race. Like it didn't necessarily suit him. But it's like in the Clarence House as well. Like a Ergamine, First Flow was trying to like make the pace, but a Ergamine has to go and take up because they're just not going fast enough. Like those top 3 are genuine top class 2-milers. And yes, Shakan got beat last year, so he deserves to be the price that he is. But Oh, I'm so excited about it. Let's just hope it doesn't all fall apart again, because we've had these clashes, haven't we? Duvan 1-4 does his hit, then we have he fell the time after, and then we have Defi Desoy last year, or a couple of years back when it went off 1-4 after Altior comes out, Chacon comes out. Let's just hope they all get there, but it looks an absolute peach. She's going to win, though, probably, won't he?
Hopefully.
Yeah. I hope Put the Kettle on runs well as well, because I'm a big fan. I just hopefully she has a go. She's still got half a chance of a place, hasn't she?
The madness is, though, and we could be completely wrong with it, but because she's the reigning champion, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only reason she's running in here. She's better suited to a bit further. She should go in the Mayor's Chase, but he's hinted that she's probably going to come here. I guess if you're the owners of her, though, would you rather get beat in the Mayor's Chase, or would you rather be beaten in the Champion Chase defending your crown? You'd morally
go down on your sword, wouldn't you?
Yeah, morally she's got to run, isn't she?
I think so. And then maybe next year she could go Mayor's Chase, couldn't she, if she doesn't do very well this time, so.
That's it. But honestly, that is I cannot wait. I managed to sort out some childcare. So Tuesday, Wednesday I'll be there. Thursday I won't be there. But the Supreme looks insane. But this race here, I was saying it to my mum, I was like, I cannot not be there if all three of them line up. This is genuinely one for the ages. So I'll come round to yours, Matt, and I'll watch it with the kids, mate.
Yeah, sounds. I'm there on the race week.
Yes, well, obviously we'll catch up with that. Right, let's move on. Cross country. Ian, I didn't think you were drinking tonight.
A little one.
Mate, right.
I shall tell you what.
I backed Diesel Dahlia. I love doing it. Everyone loves doing this, don't they? I backed Diesel Dahlia when he won a handicap at Cheltenham. We were sat in the Guinness Village and we just said, wait for some late money, and they started smashing him and he won. And then he ran quite well after, didn't he? And now he's gone up in the weights a bit. What's the logic? Is it just because you think Tiger's too old and you want to take on the ones towards the front?
Well, my heart is saying Tiger Roll. But Tiger Roll was 12 now. Now I've written here, Prengard was the favourite, and I think everybody see how it run on Sunday. Now I've wrote here, I think it's still running. Easy's Land, I've wrote crap. And then Ajas, I wrote, is it alive? So that's 3 or 4 gone. And so you got Diesel Delalier, 12-1 is a massive price. 3rd in November, 1 in December, goes the winner, surely. Well, Rumbleball won't stay the trip. Midnight Maestro is 8-1, and Diesel Delalier beat it 60 lengths. And how on earth is that 8-1 and Diesel Delalier is 12-1? I don't know, but I don't know. It's a huge price.
Like it, John.
Yeah, my original choice was a non-runner now. He got pulled out, Balco de Flow. I thought he might have a chance this year, but he's gone by the wayside. Like Ian said, then Prengard, I know it was a 2-mile hurdle, but I just saw nothing from that horse at all that made me wanting to back it for this. Like Ian said, it's probably still running there. I just can't see past Tiger Roll, Dave. I really can't. I look down the field and I just think there's nothing that jumps out at me. The two that I hopefully at least one of them turns up, it will just be to see how they get on in a way, is Delta Work and Samcro, because there's both rumours they'll be entered. They've both done some schooling over the bank, so it'd be interesting to see one of them turn up and just see how they get on. Maybe they could run into a place. So I would rather back one of them each way on the day, to be perfectly honest with you, because I just can't see anything beating Tiger. The trouble is with Tiger, I always get him wrong. When I back him, he doesn't win. When I leave him, he wins. So it's one of them, isn't it? Nightmare.
I think it's just a really sad thought, isn't it, of him going out and losing. Like watching him not win the race is probably what's making people think that he's got a chance, I guess. Because I know he's a legend, but it'll be some feat, wouldn't it? Especially considering it's not a handicap anymore. So the 12-year-old that won it before was carrying a featherweight. He's just got a lot to defy. Matt, where are you with it, mate?
No bet for me, mate. Just Tiger all wins and he's retired on the spot afterwards. Not a race I like to bet in, so I'm quite happy to watch the race and cheer on Tiger without carrying any money of mine.
Nice. We'll be in the Guinness Village then, having a Guinness after we've watched that massive champion chase. I'll get you one after Chacon wins, mate. Don't worry about it. This will be a race that I won't show any interest until the day. I might, again, thinking from a trading perspective, I could be semi-tempted to place lay Tiger Roll, considering he might go off sub 2-1. And I think the weight of money might just come in from all the fan people, make him shorter and shorter and shorter. Not that I want to see it, but emotions aside, I might do something like that. But again, I don't think I'm going to get too far stuck into it. I'll look at it when the final decks come. That's nice and useful for a preview, isn't it? Then we've got the Grand Annual Chase, where unfortunately, John, you liked one, but you don't think it's going to run, or it's not running, or you don't like it anymore. So I'm going to make you wait. No, I'm not. Johnny, go straight to you. Let's get on. Grand Annual.
Yeah, it was Funambule Savola, but there was rumours today that there was something wrong in the yard. Wasn't there a cough or something going round? So that one might not run. But my backup is one that beat actually last time, which is Before Midnight. Now, he's gone up in the weights quite a bit since the beginning of the season. I think he's up like £12, but he has won on the course when he beat Sky Pirate last October. So, he has got form round here. And like I say, he was only a length behind Funambule Savola at Doncaster in January now. So he's off 148, so he is quite high in the weights, but I still think he's got a bit to come. So I think he's a good each-way play, a solid each-way play in this race.
Yeah, fair enough. And again, the recency bias might have tweaked it a bit, because I think after he won that race back in October, everyone was saying he was the Grand Annual horse, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Nice. Matt, anything you like in here?
Yeah, I use the trends obviously to whittle down the race and come up with a bit of a short list on my spreadsheet. I've come down on 3 selections that take my fancy, but the first one has been nicely found in the market now, and I think it's the name on a majority of people's lips for this race, and that is Buddy Rich for Gordon Elliott. He's priced around 8-1, and this is his only entry at the festival. Looks to have been raid out for the race as well. Moving swiftly on towards the other 2 that I like. A bit more of a price, I'm the same as John. Before Midnight for Sam Thomas Yard is around 16-1. Ticks all the boxes. For me, he's finished 1 length behind Funambule Savola, who was racing off 152 last time out. And I believe Before Midnight's mark has been left unchanged on 148. Funambule Savola has since come out and won again at Newbury, and he's now rated 159, beating 163 rated Show Royale and 160 rated Hitman comfortably. Surely Before Midnight looks a great bet at 16-1. And my other one is a little bit more of a price at around 33-1, and that's For Pleasure. He's won 1 chase start out of 5 at Plumpton in December, beating Nassalam when racing off a mark of 137. Raced against Third Time Lucky after that race, off the same mark again, and fell at the last. Admittedly, he was looking most likely to be beaten at this point. But I watched it back this afternoon. He jumped very well, apart from the last where he was probably too brave for his own good. He was raised to 140. His next start, where he was well beaten behind Edwardstone. He's been dropped back down to a mark of 138, which for me is extremely tempting. He ticks all the trends, and at 33-1, he is worth an each way punt.
Nice. Ian, any fancies?
Well, similar to the 2 guys, as I've wrote down Before Midnight as well. So it has Cheltenham form, Ascot form, and then ran into Shishkin. So Shishkin, when it wins the Champion Chase, could potentially frank the form of Before Midnight. And the other one I like is Course of Blame. And again, ran into 2 heavyweights, if you want to call them. It's Fernie Hollow and then Riviere de Tell. So if Riviere has a cracking race, again, that could frank the form of Course of Blame. And again, come out and won at Gowran. So that's the 2. So Before Midnight was about 16-1. Course of Blame can get about 10-1. I think if those 2 horses potentially could frank the form, I think it's a good price and some good shouts.
Nice. Well, you'll be pleased to know that I've got one that I quite like in here. And I got more excited because I spoke to someone about this a few months ago. Maybe that's too much. Before its penultimate run, basically, or after its penultimate run, I spoke to someone about it, and they poo-pooed it, but they didn't like the idea of it. But then someone more recently messaged me and said, "Rip the bones out of this one," and they gave basically the same write-up as what I'd already analysed of it for the same horse. And because I trust that judge, because they were going with me, Dancing on My Own for Henry de Bromhead is a 33-1 poke. And I proper fancy it. And it's not just for the fact that it beat Buddy Rich earlier in the season. That sort of shows up Buddy Rich, I think. He wants it like a road. And we might get that, but you think it's going to be the second day, it's going to be the penultimate race on the second day. The track would have had some racing on it. So whether it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be good ground at the festival. There's only, I think he's £2 lower rated Dancing on My Own. So we'll see what the British handicapper does. You do want horses that have run or definitely won over further to win a Grand Annual. Like, I know it's a speedball sort of track, but this horse Dancing on My Own, they ran it against Blue Lord after, and he ran all right, to be fair, travelled, but was never going to be beaten Blue Lord, so I think they gave him a bit of an easy time of it. Then was never put in the race against Sildonez the last day. I know he fell, but if you watch it, he literally, they were literally just running him there for the sake of a mark. Like, I almost guarantee it. Henry ran Capucci Mix in the race last year at 40s, and that went off like the clappers out in front, but just faded. But that was only a 2-miler. I reckon this Buddy Rich, you need something that's going to go off with the pace in the Grand Annual. I'm hoping they send him off. And sorry, Dancing Around. I don't know if I said Buddy Rich there. Dancing Around. I hope they send him off in the front of it. There's also some mental old school stuff, which is probably highly irrelevant, but it makes it sound even better. So he's got some decent like hurdle form. His maiden was behind Classical Dream, and that obviously looks quite good now. Classical Dream won, Supreme was quite good. Intukas was behind him. Then they ran again, and Intukas was just behind him again. Intukas got beaten ahead in this last year off 143. I'm pretty sure Danced on My Own is going to be running off a similar-ish mark. So again, that's a very tenuous, loose sort of link. But profile-wise, I think Danced on My Own, if Henry runs him here, go out like the clappers, catch me if you can. Like, I don't even like betting each way, but the muggiest, scummiest each way bet, you'll get 6th place in the Dale St. Jude, wouldn't you? I genuinely fancy him. More fancy him for the fact that he's just too big a price. Like, if it was a 16s poke, I wouldn't be as bullish, but 33s is just filthy. So get stuck in.
Yeah, we'll have a go on that. You've talked us into that one day.
Yeah, I've just double-checked my spreadsheet, and he's there with only one thing against him on it. So you've just talked me into that, David, 33 to 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. He ticks loads of boxes for strengths and stuff as well, like the rating band that will be in there. And if the people may say that he doesn't particularly like Cheltenham, but if you go back and look at his Coral Cup that he ran in, I think it was 2 seasons ago. I think one of the stats he doesn't tick is he didn't run at the festival last year, but he has run at a festival. And in the Coral Cup, he travelled pretty well for quite a long way and then was never going to win. So leave him out. But I do think that like extra distance form coming back to the Grand Annual could be interesting. He's just a big price, I think.
Yeah,
get in there,
especially if he's beat Buddy Rich and the price difference between the two as well.
Yeah, and I do think on that though, because like I take it fairly literal, but I do think Buddy Rich just proves more than anything that he needs like fast ground, because it was yielding to soft that day, and I think the ground conditions they may not suit Buddy Rich as much as everyone thinks they're going to, but it still reads well, doesn't it? When you think he's favourite and the other one's 33s, don't take much selling these 33 to 1 pokes, do they?
They don't, mate. I'll have a little bash on that.
Yes, right. Well, you're bashing one out, John. You napped American Mike, didn't you?
I did indeed.
I was going to say, sorry, just before you say, because again, I haven't anti-post punted in this race, but he's the sort of horse recently I'm getting very, very like not trigger happy, but I'm getting very close to thinking I want to start backing him, because I don't know what's going to happen with his price on the day, but like he looks like he's the one to win the bumper. But I can't really put my finger on it too much. John, sell him to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Matty have been keen on him all season, when we got on him really, really early. But he's been impressive in what he's done so far. He's done nothing wrong. Elliot sent him down the right route of, previous winners of the bumper. And I just think when Facile Vega's come out and then look very impressive on the bridle, everyone's kind of forgot about American Mike a little bit. He's sort of been pushed to the side a little bit, and that's why his price is held up. I just think he looks like, he looks a machine as well as Facile Vega, but like I say, everyone's forgotten about him. And then Jamie Codd's really bullish on him, isn't he? He's come out, and I know it was a bit tongue-in-cheek what he said, that he was going to win the length of the straight. But, obviously that probably won't happen, but I think he's quietly confident that he's as good as what Facile Vega is.
Yeah, well, the other thing he said, John, was that he's not going there to follow Facile Vega around.
Yeah. I just think that he's going to be the one to be on. I mean, Facile Vega's come out of the Dublin Racing Festival race, pretty similar to what Appreciate It did, and also Kilcrook last year. They all won on the bridle as well, and neither of them won the bumper either. So, I mean, he's probably a good horse as well, but I just think Mike's going to beat him. There's something telling me Mike's the one to be on in this.
If the prices were the other way around, so let's say American Mike, we'll just argue, say it was even money American Mike and it was 3 to 1 Facile Vega, would it sway you a bit more into the Facile Vega camp, do you reckon? Or is it not just price?
It's not just price, really. I just think he just looks the right type for it. Like, I'm just wondering, is Facile Vega going to be, like Ian said earlier, like a bit of a show horse? You know, he's great on the bridle, but when it comes to push and shove, what's he got under the bonnet? I just think Mike looks the type that'll find. I think they pushed him out a little bit in one of his bumper wins, didn't they? And he did sort of pull away. So I'm just going to stick with him. And I have got Facile Vega covered as well at decent odds. So it's not pocket talking because I could sort of swing either way, really, like on it. But I just think Mike's the one to be on. I mean, Redemption Day's the other one, isn't he? That, he's looked good as well. And I'd like to have seen him again. That's the only problem with him. And he's only had the one run. I think Ian's got a start on that he'll probably mention. I won't spoil it for him. But it's Mike for me, Dave, all the way.
Yeah, fair enough. Go on, Ian. You can jump in now. You can stat us up.
Well, before I do my pick, so Redemption Days had one run. What was the last horse that had one run and won the bumper? Do you know?
No.
Q Cup.
He's not watched the video.
Oh yeah, Q Cup was faking him. Was he faking him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was somewhere we go. What?
12 years ago.
12 years. So all the others we said like Envoy and Fiona all had like 2 or 3 runs, and I don't know. I just so when I was doing my research, I thought that was quite interesting. It could win, but for it to go back 12 years for that, I don't know. I've scrubbed that one out. But like these guys, I have backed American Mike and at 33-1. I got blimey, I think it was right at the beginning of 2021. And then when I don't know if you remember, Willie Mullins done like a dinner, and they asked him for a horse, and he said Facile Vega then. So a lot of us, including myself, jumped on quick, even though maybe betting a bit blind, but hopefully it's been successful. About 16-1, 20-1, I think I backed it. But going through the form lines, so Facile Vega won 12 lengths at Dublin Racing Festival, and I've made it about 4 horses: Sandor, Clegane, Carl Funnock, I think it's what it is, and Embassy Gardens have all come out and won since. Now I think American Mike, I think only one of the horses has come out behind that and won since. I think it's called Royal Romeo, but that's what swayed it for me. But again, the price is not really there. I am a bit worried that Appreciate It and Kilcrut have obviously pissed home in the Dublin Racing Festival and not done it for Mullins since, but I do think that Facile Vega might be the classiest bumper, but that's the one I've come down on. But I wouldn't mind either way if either of them won, but I think Facile Vega is going to be the winner.
Fair enough. Just before we go on to Matt, you did mention there about the horses behind Facile Vega that have come out and won since. You may have mentioned that they'd maybe won before, because nothing's won since. Sandor Clegane got beat the other day.
Right, yeah. All won the race before, beg your pardon.
That's it, yeah. So beating winners, that's a good thing. But yeah, Sandor Clegane was beaten the weekend winner, and it was beaten by a horse that was behind Redemption Day. Anywho, Matt, not teeing you up for anything. Matt, what do you fancy in the race?
I'm all about American Mike for me in this one, Dave. Backed him a couple of times back in June at 33-1 after watching his point-to-point win. Put him up on our Twitter page at 16 before his debut at Down Royale back in October. He travelled powerfully throughout the race, and he won as he liked, beating next time out winner Royal Romeo by 7 lengths. He then went on to the Future Champions bumper at Navan in December, where he again looked impressive, winning by 17 lengths to Battling Bessie, who narrowly finished second at the Dublin Racing Festival in the Mayor's bumper on the Sunday. It's the same tried and tested route that Sir Gerhard went down before he switched stables to Willie Mullins. Still getting away from Facile Vega, and how impressive he looked at the Dublin Racing Festival. And like I said on our preview of the bumper the other day, I do have some of the 20-1 on Facile Vega from when he was first mentioned. But for me, on the day in March, American Mike to get the job done. Should be a well-run race, and we could be in for some finish with some highly talented youngsters to look forward to in the future.
Nice. Beauty. Well, yeah, I'm starting to get towards the American Mike camp. I just think, like, pricey wise, like, I think he's done more than enough to suggest that he should be joint favourites, probably at least. And I know we get that thing about the bumper that Facile Vega won that they don't win at Cheltenham, but I mean, at some point, surely one of them's going to go in. I do think I think he's just too short. American Mike's the one that I'm tempted with the value. I think he's value. Redemption Day I do quite like because I think he's going to be a better horse than Facile Vega will be. Maybe he wants to step up in trip, but we know these staying types do all right in the bumper. James's Gate, the other one for Willie Wellens, I'm sure he'll run probably all three of them. He was filthily impressive as well. So it's similar to like Redemption Day where he only had the one run. But I don't know how I'd get stuck into it, but I'd be thinking at the moment I probably would want to take on Facile Vega. So maybe lay that. I'd be tempted to back American Mike, and then I'd maybe do something Redemption Day, James's Gate, either place back or something like that. But I think as it stands, I'm kind of keen to take on Facile Vega, but I'm not going to put myself in a silly position because he does look good enough to win it. I just thought when I watched the replay of the race back that the horse is in behind, as much as he showed a turn of foot, camera angle's a little bit like it's not as apparent as it looks. Like it did quicken away, but I think the camera angle makes it look a bit more. And I think the horses in behind were actually slowing up a little bit. And like I said, that Sandor Clegane went and got beat the other day after as well. So if that had gone unslooshed in, I'd have been more in the camp that says Facile Vega deserves to be fav, but it doesn't deserve to be fav as far as I'm concerned. But then we all know, don't we? Just back Willie's in the bumper.
I think Envoy Holland was the last one to win at Dublin Racing Festival and then go on to Cheltenham, wasn't he?
I think you're probably right.
Good old Gordo, isn't it? So that does wrap up day 2, I think. We probably talked way more than we should have done in there, but you all happy with that?
Happy.
Yeah.
Boom. And then we'll move on to Super Thursday.